2. Bölüm. In the morning, Eymen couldn't stay still with excitement as he went up to the attic with Rüzgar. He had the old audio recording he found at night in his hand. The cassette was striking with a yellowed label on it. 1989, 1, section. The fork in the road. Eymen took out his grandfather's old cassette player and dusted it. Rüzgar had brought a small, contactless player with him to prevent the cassette from being damaged. He pressed the power button. The cassette for a few seconds, after a crackling sound. A familiar voice echoed. I am Ibrahim Yeşil Eymen. If you are finding this recording, it means your path has somehow returned to its starting point. In the summer of 1989, everything began in that abandoned mine. The two looked at each other. Eymen's eyes sparkled. In those years, Ibrahim and his friend Halil conducted a secret excavation. We found a passage not on the map, but this passage led us to a secret. And this secret, someone. It was older than you'd ever want to know. Rüzgar stopped. Wait, a mine? There's that old stony area behind our school. My father said it used to be a mine, but it's been closed for years. Eymen opened the notebook and looked at the notes. Some words from the cassette were also written there. Fork in the road, second sign, hidden passage. They played the cassette again. If you don't find the keys in the correct order, the passage does not accept you. But the most important thing is this. Everything returns to where it began, and the real map is within you. The wind immediately opened his laptop. The internet connection was weak, but the school's history. He accessed some old news archives. In 1989, there really was a collapse in the forest. The entrance to the mine was officially closed, but it was never erased from the maps. Look, here, an old forest map. In fact, there is a twin rock symbol. This fork in the road in the cassette may be here. Eymen excitedly made additional drawings in the notebook, while Rüzgar suddenly stopped. Wait a second, there is something else in this sound recording. Background. Rüzgar slowed and rose. What was heard in the background was a very light sound wave, but it repeated, second sign, under the broken pine. The two froze. That afternoon, Eymen and Rüzgar gathered their notebooks, compasses, and radios, and entered the path behind the school. According to the map, they needed to reach the Twin Rocks fork in the road. The path forks when Eymen looked to the right. Rüzgar looked to the left. Both of them stopped. There were almost identical rock formations on both roads. Eymen, speaking of twin rocks, they really are twins. Rüzgar, but which is the right way? They paused for a moment. Then Eymen took the compass from his bag. Calculating the sun and the shadow, he read his grandfather's note. When the shadows stretch to the west, the right path will return to you. The sun had shifted westward. The shadows, they were falling onto the path below. Eymen. This is it. When they plunged into the path, after a few minutes they saw a broken pine tree. When they looked carefully under it, there was a pile of stones. Rüzgar lifted the stones. Underneath was a glass tube, and inside it was a note. Written on the note was, second sign, you cannot proceed without facing the seal, and another piece of the map. At that very moment, in a distant corner of the forest, a tappant, he was silently taking notes with a wireless device. A dark silhouette. Eymen and Rüzgar's conversations were being listened to in a low voice. They found the second sign. Ibrahim's grandson really started. Before the others wake up, we must not stop. Eymen was listening to the cassette tape repeatedly in the attic. This time, he had connected the voice recorder to the computer and was analyzing all the background noises. Rüzgar had put on his headphones. He nodded in that way. Rüzgar, here, behind the whisper, someone else is saying something else. I slowed down the sound, trying to hear. A sentence separated from the humming, echoing from the tape. 3 letters. Sev 1 strike. The wall opens. Eymen immediately took notes. Eymen, this could be the code for that sealed stone passage. 3 letters like a password. What could 7 strikes mean? Rüzgar, could it be Morse code? Or B, it is necessary to knock on the door 7 times with a certain rhythm. At that moment, a slight sound was heard in the attic. One of the chests in the attic had shifted on its own. Eymen held the lantern and found a note. Dried ink, old writing, Ibrahim Yeşiltepe'n's handwriting. Records are not always true. Some voices are only open to those who dare to hear. The next morning, Eymen and Rüzgar returned to the sealed passage. He turned around. This time they had a portable voice recorder, an old flashlight, and notebooks with them. They re-examined the symbols on the door. Eymen, 3 letters, perhaps Ibi? Ibrahim Yeşiltepe in capital letters? Rüzgar, or the other person named in that cassette, Halil. Seyteash? Let's try. They turned the letters in order on the door's cipher mechanism. C, T, H, click. A piece turned, but the door didn't open. The man hit the bottom of the mechanism 7 times at regular intervals with a small hammer. Tock tock, tock tock, tock tock, tock tock. Suddenly, a clicking sound came from inside the mechanism. The stone wall slowly slid aside. Behind a long passage opened. Inside was pitch black. When they entered the passage, they found a small room that opened after a narrow corridor paved with stones. In the middle of the room was a stone table. On it, another cassette tape placed years ago. A rusty note next to it. Only one person should listen to this recording. My grandson. If someone else listens, everything will be ruined. Eymen narrowed his eyes. Eymen. My grandfather. This room. He may have only left it to me. But why? Wind. This is not an ordinary record. Perhaps a secret that should not be solved is hidden. Eymen played the cassette. Cassette. Ibrahim Yeşiltepe's voice. Eymen, if you are listening to this, you are very close to the secret. But not every secret brings wisdom. Some are just burdens. I was the guardian of this place, just like my grandfather. Now it's your turn. But you must not forget, if you play with the past, you will lose not only your future but also yourself. At the end of the cassette, a coordinate was given. 40, 1.13 north, 29.09 east. Rüzgar, these coordinates. According to the map, it's right behind the pond, but there is it seemed like nothing. Eymen, maybe there is something now. Or something is waking up again. At the same time, 2 children appeared in a secret camera recording stored in the school archives. Eymen and Rüzgar. An old man approached the monitor. His eyes were icy. Mysterious man, Ibrahim's grandson, finally tracked him down. But too soon, too dangerous. Keep them under surveillance, before the shadow awakens again. Oh, Eymen could not sleep. He saw his grandfather in his dream. He was standing in front of an old sealed door in a dark forest. He had a map in his hand. When they made eye contact, he only heard one sentence. Eymen, opening the door is the arm ID. Peki. Kapanmadan çıkabilecek misin?